In Texas, the growing threat of crocodile invasions has pushed the state to the brink. These massive reptiles are no longer limited to remote wetlands, they have entered residential areas, prowled public parks, and forced emergency closures of neighborhoods. The crisis erupted when an elderly woman walking her dog was attacked by a vicious crocodile, triggering alarms across the entire state. With more and more reports of aggressive crocodile sightings, Texas authorities launched a statewide coordinated effort to control the species. So how did officials bring down such large, fast, and dangerous creatures? Let's find out in this video. There are strict regulations on crocodile hunting in Texas. All hunters must have a valid Texas hunting license. In core counties, they must also obtain CITES tags from the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department before entering hunting areas. These tags limit the number of crocodiles that can be taken per property.
Set the rifle up so that we don't have to move it at all.
Not shooting.
Yeah.
Not shooting.
In non-core counties, after harvesting a crocodile, hunters must submit a wildlife resource document to TPWD within 72 hours to receive a permanent tag. The limits are very tight. Each hunter is allowed to hunt only one crocodile per year in non-core counties, while harvests in core areas are restricted by the number of CITES tags available for that area.
Behind the smoke. Shoot him again, shoot him again.
Yes, that's a nice bucket.
The way to take down crocodiles in Texas is with guns, specifically with centerfire rifles. Regular hunting rifles are not effective here. The most reliable choices are large caliber rifles like the .375 HNH Magnum, .416 Rigby, or even the .458 Winchester Magnum. These bullets are designed for dangerous game and have the penetration needed to punch through a crocodile's bony skull.
There, hey, let's look at that. Yeah, the fucking heart is huge.
Thank you so much, Rye. Justice Kepler, thank you, Kepler.
For hunters who prefer more common calibers, the .30-06 Springfield or .308 Winchester can be effective, but only with precise shots. Supporting equipment includes flat-bottom boats, GPS navigation systems for flooded terrain, snare poles for crocodile control, and razor-sharp field knives for quick processing.
Shoot him again. Shoot him again. On the shoulder, on the shoulder.
Shot placement is the key factor in crocodile hunting. The brain is the only guaranteed kill zone, and it's not a large target. If the crocodile is facing you, aim straight between the eyes. If it's lying sideways, aim just behind the eye where the bone is thinner.
Good shot. Just wait.
Unbelievable.
A shot too low might hit the snout. Too high, and you'll only graze the skull. Even at close range, the skull can deflect bullets from smaller calibers. That's why experienced hunters never pull the trigger until they're sure the angle is perfect and the head is still.
And one more time. Just go in the neck.
Oh, fuck, mate, well done. That's huge pressure.
Gun-based spot and stalk crocodile hunting is the most respected method. It requires patience, silence, and the ability to move through wetlands without being detected. Crocodiles are very good at detecting movement, and once spooked, they disappear in seconds.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
A successful hunt ends with a slow, steady approach, often crawling on your belly or kneeling behind cover until the shooter gets within 45 to 90 meters. At that point, a calm breath, a clear scope, and a perfect shot are all that separates success from a missed opportunity.
Thank you, Russ. We worked for it.
Yep.
Thank you, Russ.
Weather conditions play a huge role in crocodile hunting success. Crocodiles are most active in the late afternoon and early morning, when the air is cooler and they come out to bask. Hunting in extreme heat can make it harder to locate them, as they tend to retreat into the water.
Perfect.
We got him.
him again. There you go.
Quit thinking, buddy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This was for
Wind
crocodile.
direction is also crucial. Experienced
And,
hunters always use wind direction to avoid
Croc
detection.
must bask in this.
Rain can reduce
The sun
visibility,
helps
fog
speed
up
up its
scopes,
metabolism,
and turn
which
river water
obviously
murky,
allows-
making it hard to track a wounded
and
animal.
then when you do the
That's
shot,
why the best hunters study
and
weather
then,
forecasts as
when
carefully
the
as
shot
they
is
study their
presented,
targets.
Shoot again behind the shoulder. Okay, take your time. We want to give it a behind the shoulder. Give it one more.
like that. We're not going to be able to load that thing.
A clean kill depends not just on skill but on preparation. After shooting a crocodile, the hunter must move quickly and carefully. Even a brain-shot crocodile can twitch or thrash due to nerve response. A backup shot may be necessary. Once the animal is confirmed dead, the real work begins. Field dressing, skinning, and meat processing must happen fast in a hot environment to prevent spoilage. In many regions, regulatory tags must be attached immediately. From first sight to final shot, every step must be calculated. Hunting crocodiles with guns is not just a sport, it's a test of control, precision, and respect for a truly dangerous animal. Do you know any better hunting methods? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe to join us on the next hunt.
Fantastic.
Reload again.
Small in size, but mighty in destructive power, these are the cunning wild foxes that have long ravaged our farmlands. Despite their sleek appearance, they leave a trail of destroyed crops, stolen poultry, and disturbed livestock, costing farmers thousands of dollars each season. After countless sleepless nights and strategies that failed to deter them, I knew it was time to take decisive action. I needed a weapon that was accurate, quiet, and powerful enough to deter them without causing property damage. That's when I turned to a small caliber rifle, a tool that is proven to be the perfect match for defeating these insidious invaders. Curious to see how well this option performs in the field? Let's take a closer look at the hunt. Due to the alarming increase in wild fox attacks, the government has officially allowed farmers like me to use small caliber rifles to control the population. But this is not a total purge. There are strict regulations. To ensure the balance in the ecosystem, I only operate along the forest edges that border my farmland, where foxes attack most often. When it comes to fox hunting, most experienced hunters prefer to use small caliber rifles that are highly accurate and have minimal recoil. The .22-250 Remington and .223 Remington are among the most popular choices. That morning, I put on my protective gear and headed into the forest with two of my friends. The foxes in this area were not timid, they were fierce and bold. Suddenly, a fox jumped out of the bushes, a wild red fox, charging straight at us. Without hesitation, I took aim and pulled the trigger. The shot was accurate. The fox fell down immediately. The night was quiet, but I knew that was when the real threat would arrive: foxes. These cunning predators are most active after dark, sneaking silently through the shadows and aiming directly at our farm. I had carefully prepared all my hunting gear, knowing that accuracy would make the difference. With a thermal scope in hand, capable of detecting even the slightest movement in the dark, I scanned my farm. Heat signature appeared. A small fox was heading toward the livestock area. Foxes like this one, which averaged only 6 to 15 pounds, moved quickly and were difficult to target, especially at night. Holding my breath, I locked on. A single, accurate shot, silent, sharp, and clean, had sealed the mission. During the seeding season, I faced a relentless foe, foxes who dared to sneak into my farm, snatching the seeds and tearing up the tender young plants before they could sprout. This time, I decided not to wait any longer. I brought the hunt home, right to the fields where the damage had begun. What surprised me most was their boldness. These foxes were fearless, not hesitant even when humans were nearby. When a fox lunged at me without warning, I locked on with total concentration. In that split-second decision, I fired a precise shot that took it down instantly. The speed of the encounter was like a bolt of lightning, and my heart pounded with adrenaline. That rush, that precise moment of success, is what makes each hunt unforgettable. On a cold winter morning, with frost covering the vast plains like a silver blanket, I set out on a hunt that required both patience and precision. In one hand I held my trusty rifle, in the other, a whistle that mimicked the desperate cry of a fox in distress, a sound that echoed through the still air like a lure to the cunning predator. Minutes passed in silence until, from behind a patch of tall, frozen grass, a well-fed red fox cautiously emerged, scanning the area for an easy meal. It was a magnificent specimen, fat, alert, and unaware of my presence. For foxes, hesitation is deadly. They disappear in the blink of an eye. Knowing this, I steadied my breathing, focused my sights, and squeezed the trigger. A single sharp crack split the air, and the fox fell to the ground. The entire field fell silent again, as if realizing the swift and final outcome of that moment. I had believed that the sound of gunshots echoing through the forest would be enough to scare the wild invaders away from our farm, but the opposite was true. Instead of retreating, the foxes became bolder, coming closer and leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. I took my rifle and aimed it at a hill not far from my farm. The resident cunning foxes feed here. After an hour of lying still, carefully observing the terrain, I noticed movement in the tall grass. Without hesitation, I took aim. A sharp, decisive shot broke the silence and the fox fell instantly. Fox hunting at night always brings a special thrill. an adrenaline rush that only darkness can evoke. As soon as the sun dips below the horizon, foxes emerge with confidence, believing they have free reign over the quiet farmland. But underestimating the darkness is their biggest mistake. Armed with a precision rifle and years of hunting experience, I quietly blend into the darkness, waiting for the perfect moment. The silence of the night is broken by the sound of rapid gunfire, each shot carefully aimed, another intruder killed. Right in front of me was a vast field, where every inch of land had been threatened by wild foxes. At that moment, a red fox dashed past me, not only agile but also alert, as if it sensed danger. But for a hunter with many years of hunting experience and sharp eyes trained by countless encounters, the fox had sealed its fate. I held my rifle tightly, watching its swift movements through the scope. With precise calculation and calm breathing, I pulled the trigger. Just one shot, silent, sharp, and decisive. The fox fell on the spot. Night hunts carry a pulse-pounding intensity that daylight can never match. In the pitch-black silence, every rustle becomes a signal, every shadow a possible target. Small and lightning fast, foxes thrive in this darkness, forcing me into a state of razor-sharp concentration. I rely on my thermal scope, an essential piece of equipment that can detect even the faintest body heat from over 300 yards away. Through its glowing lens, the foxes emerge like ghosts, bold, unpredictable, and often too confident for their own good. But in this battlefield of silence and precision, I hold the upper hand. One by one, these cunning intruders fall, outwitted by the calm trigger of an experienced night hunter. What makes them so fearless? And how do I manage to stay one step ahead under the cover of darkness? Lynxes used to live in deep forests where humans rarely saw them. But that was the story of the past, and now, as food became scarce, these stealthy predators ventured beyond their home territories, moving closer to human settlements. For many nights, I watched the cunning lynx sneak through the darkness to steal my poultry, its emerald eyes gleaming in the darkness. My frustration grew with each loss, and I knew that something had to be done before this mysterious predator caused more damage. I made a firm decision to put an end to this, once and for all. But how could I confront one of nature's most elusive predators? To increase my odds of success, I always carry an electronic sound simulator that mimics the calls of my prey, luring the bobcats into range. For this particular hunt, I chose the Ruger American Predator .243 Win, a rifle known for its accuracy, lightweight design, and smooth action, perfect for sneak shots and quick tracking shots. .243 Winchester caliber strikes the perfect balance, enough power to take a clean bobcat down without the excessive recoil that can throw off accuracy in tense moments. I chose a wide, open patch of grass. This was no random spot. I had scouted it carefully, knowing that the surrounding woods were perfect cover for a stealthy predator like a bobcat. Minutes passed, and then, from the shadows, a bobcat approached, staring straight at me. Entered my effective range, no more than 70 yards away. I held my aim and waited for the perfect shot. Then, crack, a single, accurate round hit it square in the chest. The bobcat fell instantly. It wasn't just luck that made this hunt a success, it was careful planning, patience, and the right technology. Armed with a rifle and determination, I patrolled the perimeter, protecting my herd from predators. In the light of my night vision device, a silhouette suddenly appeared, large, sleek, and unmistakably feline. A bobcat, nearly 30 inches tall at the shoulder and weighing nearly 40 pounds, had stalked out of the woods, its eyes shining with predatory intent. My heart pounded. This was not a planned hunt, and my experience was limited, but instinct took over. I caught my breath, raised my rifle, and pulled the trigger. Incredibly, the shot was a clean hit. The bobcat collapsed instantly under the moonlit sky.
Dawn, is this a second night?
Behind the curtain of underbrush, I held my breath, watching a lynx, a creature both stealthy and dangerous, creep under the cover of silence. Its yellow eyes scanned the area, its ears twitching with every whisper of the wind. I knew that any sudden sound would send it fleeing back into the darkness of the forest. My heart raced in time with its calculated strides. Then it stopped, completely still, right in my sights. This was the moment I had been waiting for. I pulled the trigger. A thunderous shot broke the silence, and the impact sent the giant lynx crashing to the ground. Its mighty frame collapsed without a fight. After days of tracking and hours of silent waiting, the elusive predator was finally subdued. For nearly 3 hours, I lay perfectly still on a grassy knoll, hidden by the natural contours of the terrain and camouflaged by dense undergrowth. The wind was stilled, the tension was thick, and the seconds stretched endlessly as I waited for any sign of movement. Then, as the golden light of late afternoon filtered through the trees, a lynx emerged from the edge of the woods, its sleek body moving cautiously across the open space. Its sharp eyes locked on me, a silent confrontation between predator and hunter. In a split second, I tightened my grip and squeezed the trigger. The shot hit me square in the chest. The mighty cat collapsed instantly. Its hunt had become its last. Hunting bobcats doesn't always require a rifle or high-tech equipment. Sometimes, patience and clever trap placement are all you need.
To this, having something up.
One of the most effective strategies I rely on is the use of leg traps. To avoid accidentally harming pets or livestock, I carefully select trap locations deep in the woods, especially along trails that bobcats often travel. A small amount of fresh bait, such as fish scraps or feather bait, is placed nearby to increase the lure's effect. This approach greatly increases the success rate, especially when dealing with elusive and wary animals like bobcats. Unlike wild pigs or mountain lions, which live in rugged or scrubby terrain, bobcats typically roam in flat, open areas. First, I dig a shallow hole just big enough to set the trap, set the device so it's flush with the ground, then cover it with leaves, twigs, or a thin layer of soil, to ensure it blends in perfectly with its surroundings, and add a little bait. The success of this hunting method depends not only on location, but also on understanding the natural behavior of bobcats. By strategically placing the traps along the trails where the bobcats often roam, I freed myself up to set more traps elsewhere or go home and rest, knowing the device was quietly doing its job. Early the next morning, with anticipation, I returned to the woods. There was the result I'd hoped for, a large bobcat caught in the lake trap. The trap held just enough to hold the animal without causing injury, proving that the method was not only effective but also humane. This success wasn't just luck, it was a calculated move based on experience and knowledge of bobcat travel patterns.
Oh my God! Calm down. He's trap. He's caught. He's not going anywhere.
After experimenting with both trapping and shooting, I realized that each method has its own appeal, but when it comes to sheer efficiency and adrenaline, nothing beats using a rifle. Compared to waiting silently for hours by a trap, the rifle gives me more control, more action, and more satisfying results. With a well-calibrated scope and a high-velocity bullet, I can take down targets from over 200 yards away, cleanly, quickly, and with unparalleled accuracy. That's why, after many hunts and countless observations, I believe the rifle is not just a tool, it is the heartbeat of the hunt.